My school days were spent at North Merredin. After school, I would always have to go back to the shop, so I spent most of my days in the shop or walking, playing along the street. I think I was a street kid. Mum used to go off to work early, and so I used to ride my bike down to the school from Hart Street. We had lots of happy times at school because it was during the war, and of course, being kids, we didn't know much about the war in those days. We were only young. But I can remember them having trenches that we used to have to do with these drills every so often. If we had an air raid, we'd all have to go and hop in these trenches, which we thought was a great lot of fun, of course. And fortunately, we never had to use them. Used to have our school photos taken, and every year we'd have them. And of course, in those days we didn't have uniforms, we just had ordinary clothes, and I used to be one of these that'd stand on my hands and do handstands and all. And I wasn't the only one, of course. That was part of life in those days, just making your own entertainment at school. And this particular day I had my photo taken, and I wish I still had it today because it was absolutely terrible photo. And this headmaster said to me, and he was quite an ugly sort of person, and he said to me, "Oh, I'm so glad somebody's as ugly as I am." And of course, I wasn't very impressed with that, and I went home crying to my mum, and she said, "Oh, don't worry about him." When Dad was away at the war, every Friday night, whether Mum had been in the shop all day, we'd always go to the pictures on a Friday night. And she'd take me along in an old pram because we lived up in Hart Street, and she'd wheel me home after the pictures, after she'd worked all day. Dad came home, and of course he went straight into the business with Mum, but I think he probably found it a bit hard to settle down. He got into the road board, and you know, he was one of these that always liked to talk, and I think Jim Flockhart used to say, "Well, there's old Charlie Davies standing out on the footpath talking to everybody that goes past, and there's poor Mrs. Davies in the shop working hard." Anyway, but that was Dad. He just liked to talk to different people. Well, everybody that lives here seems to quite enjoy living here, but and you know, different ones that have gone, they come back and say, "Oh, we love living here," but I think a lot of them shifted because of family commitments and things. And but I mean, I can't say that we're lacking anything in this town, really.